Ready? Okay. Practical talks and what we know about phosphorus in the lake. And with a little bit of conclusion wrap up here for this evening, we're fielding some questions from some environmental science students, and Laura Johnson is here with me, and we're just going to hit these as hard as we can.
And who are you?
I'm Bret Margraf. I'm the cover crop guy in Seneca County.
And Laura, who are you?
I'm Laura Johnson. I'm a research scientist at the National Center for Water Quality Research at Heidelberg University.
Well, that sounds a lot better. Okay, our first question is sustainable ways to add P or phosphorus to our fields. One of the main things that we're going to do with phosphorus is our 4R, which is the right place, the right time, the right amount, and the right rate of fertilizer application. And if we follow that, that's one of the best things that we can do to maintain the phosphorus on our farm, keeping it on our farm so that it doesn't move into the water. Other options might be to use cover crops as another effort, which would help hold nutrients in the fields and on the farm temporarily until we want them available for next year's corn or soybean crop.
I agree with that entirely.
Very good.
Yeah.
Our next question is the difference between DRP and PP. You might want to explain those acronyms to start with.
I will, yes. All right, so DRP is dissolved reactive phosphorus. It's dissolved phosphorus. Essentially, it's whatever is in the water that you can't see. Whereas particulate phosphorus is the phosphorus that's attached to sediment. So it's whatever particulate. If you see muddy water, that mud is particulate phosphorus. And we care about the differences between these two because dissolved phosphorus is really bioavailable for algae. When you have lots of dissolved phosphorus, algae grow explosively. Whereas particulate phosphorus is only about 25% available for algae. So algae can't respond to it as quickly, and many times it settles out into the bottom of the lake before algae even have a chance to use it. So those are the main differences between the two. Now they have implications when it comes to agricultural management, which Bret knows all about, as well, because dissolved phosphorus leaves the farm a lot differently than particulates do. And sediments, you have to use a different type of management than you might want to use for dissolved phosphorus.
I like that term, explosive growth of the algal blooms. I wish it would make my crops have explosive growth as well. But
well, if you didn't have enough, then you probably would notice how explosively your crops are growing.
Our next question is, has P played a role in the increase of blooms?
Well, indeed it has. Phosphorus in itself has played a huge role in the increase of blooms. Actually, back in the 60s and 70s, Lake Erie had a huge problem with algal blooms, and that was back when we had a lot of phosphorus coming in from sewage treatment plants that were not being regulated properly. Now we have phosphorus that seems to be leaking from lots of fields, but it's very small losses, but they all accumulate to cause this problem in the lake. Now, this phosphorus does appear to be the primary nutrient that's driving the size of the bloom, but as we mentioned earlier, it seems like nitrogen might be playing also a role in terms of dictating how toxic that bloom might be. Turns out the microcystis that grows in the lake is really competitive for nitrogen, so it responds to both of those, phosphorus and nitrogen, very equally.
Yeah, that term leaking really fits it because it seems like that's exactly what's happening in both of those. It's just we can't really keep them and maintain them where we want them. They just want to move sort of a mind of their own, and that's the challenge that we face in agriculture right now.
Yeah, they're not huge pipes of phosphorus coming out. It's not irresponsible over application in a majority of cases. It's just small leaky farms that all accumulate over a big landscape, and a lake that's highly susceptible to very small increases in concentrations.
Okay. Again, thank you, Laura, for your time.
Of course.